It's beyond late. That there's Subnautica Station. Goop flounders around in there. Lots of notices on the board for things that made sense in the days when the surf was a lot cleaner. Interesting to see what they cared about here. Wonder if any of it matters now. In the old days, this was a port for boats that went under the surf. They helped clog the surf into goo. Toxanol didn't do it on purpose, I don't think. Their machines made a mess, though, and they never cleaned up after themselves. You should be able to find a track here. Just need to keep your eyes open. Control your destiny, or someone else will. Let's see. Gulpo ain't the easiest tongue, but I think he says he's happy to see a friendly face. Not too many of those around these days. Says it's good to see you again. He's Goop. You might remember him from the old days when he tried to teach you how to swim. Goop says you were always so righteous as a child, and he can still feel it, even at a distance. Goop says memories fade surprisingly fast. We are all pieces of what we remember. It's only together we can remember the story as it was. He knows he's easy to remember. There's no one out there as cuckoo as him. He's one of a kind. Goop says our memory keeps things for us and protects them until we are ready to face them again. He understands you've returned to face Lupa Lupin. That's the destiny you've been carrying within yourself all these years. He says that the catastrophe back then didn't vanquish the good in you. It's still there, as bright as when you were a child. Now the time has come for you to remember and act. Your life is your life, not the story you're told about it. He understands why you seek revenge, but he doesn't think you realize how that'll make you feel once you claimed it.
See? On my side. Go, Dark, go!
First instincts can be truly awful.
The fun thing is always the right thing.
Next time, look at it with a clear heart.
Darkly dark, dark.
Says life on the goo is wide open. You have so many choices of where to go. Some harder than others, of course. Which kind do you like? Hit the open surf then. The trouble is you can only rely on yourself, at least until you reach a new shore and make new friends. Can hardly believe the world is going to make it. Wonders what that's going to do to the goo. Wishes you hadn't done so much to make the goo even gooier. Thinks the myriad made a good match with you. You're both like sunshine on the surf. Never seen any brighter. Shine on. But hey, back to the goo. Knows yesterday is already gone. It's what you do today and tomorrow that'll move you forward. You need to set the past aside, at least for now. He can't leave the Subnautica station as the pollution has worn down the insulation of his suit, so you must salvage enough scrap to fix up his goo glide, starting with the old wreck box outside. You should return when you've retrieved the scrap. There's no time to waste if you want to make the goo glide strong enough to fight the porky puff. You're lucky that way. There's still cargo left on the shores from before the apocalypse. His best guess is a tower tanker hit a reef and went under. It's time to create your own path. The underworld is like a whole new frontier. Keep your eyes on the end. Just a few moves left. Make them count. Mind blow. At least you got something for your trouble. It's a brand new day. Slammer. Becoming terminal. bangarang. You're on the ropes. Punch the ticket. Stay away from that biohazard. You'll want to wash yourself off for a month. Wonder what you could make with that. Toxanol's offshore drilling caused oily matter to spread with the rain and contaminate both the groundwater and open surf. The long-lasting effect this had on the evolution of wildlife was, as we know now, the only reason we came to exist. Looks like the switches need to be turned to match so enough charge can flow through the conductors. Good. That's enough electric current to initiate the actuators and activate the framework. The end is coming to the world and everything else. He's got the goo glide functional. You'll have a pull hook and a salvage net, but no armor, and an engine strong enough to break through the thick goo further out. There are lots of valuables left behind on the surf floor that the salvage net will enable you to haul. You just need to find the right spots. Goop says Gizmo's devised a cannon for the goo glide, but instead of bullets, it flips quacks, squeaky distractions for the triple attentive porky puff, which will give you time to get yourself in position. The best way to find quacks is to talk to Gulp. He has the bearings of the surfipelago and knows where the quacks like to float. This means you'll have the privilege of visiting Gulp in the Sinky Dink. He'll be able to give you directions to where you'll find quacks. He's not sure, but the quacks are probably a leftover from a cargo surfer that went under in the olden days. The squeaky material must have made them surface when their box broke. Such a bright day to wander around in. Welcome to the Surfipelago, where the horizon rests on the surfy goo. You're poking around Hockbur, a prime village. Maybe do that again later. Uppercut it. You'd better get a move on if you want to change things. Says the tribe Sifu sent them here to help defend against the rival tribe that's been terrorizing their village. Isn't sure how long the village will last if it continues. As if the plague ruining the land and destroying the crops wasn't enough to bring the village to its knees already. That's what they call the blight that's been haunting the land since the old world ended in the apocalypse around here. The Sifu asked you to help, and that's what you must do. Wants to know why you haven't broken the world yet, because it was pretty busted up to start with. Twinkles that it's good the Myriad tribe is your friend, even if you'd rather shade than shine. Says goodbye to you. The Sifu asked you to help, and that's what you must do. They need your protection and help to restore them. The Sifu asked you to help, and that's what you must do. Wonders why you're wandering around in the day when all your enemies can find you. Says you should be careful when heading out. There's been trouble with wastelanders recently. We'll be around when you return. The Sifu asked you to help, and that's what you must do. They need your protection and help to restore their... The Sifu asked you to help, and that's what you must do. Feels for you, even though you're rotten. Wishes someone... Says... The Sifu asked you to help, and that's what you must do. Understands completely. Says everything's changing in these dark coming days. Nothing stays the same. Not even houses. Have you heard of Chubza? Such a wild wanderer. Even his hut moves. But he'd have a lot to talk about with a roamer like you. Says they've seen him in many different places. Impossible to tell. Says Chubza isn't the sort to wait in one place for you. They might be looking for you too. You just got to watch for Chubza and his mobile hut. Asks you to tell him they say hi. The shadows are getting shorter by the moment. There's a serenity about this spot. It's a place for rest and recovery, when day can become night, and the other way around. That's a resource totem, a monument left behind by those that picked scrap, trying to keep the area clean. Just what you were looking for.
Nam tau tau se plan, mayokol kol male.
Says you'll get a special price and a wrap-up on the double.
Little sao ka.
Worth thinking about. Seemed fair. Don't let the day pass you by. Claims to have strange things from the dead zone that are so rare they need to be seen to be believed. Says shopkeeper claims you won't be able to find. Time to turn stuff you don't want into stuff you do.
Pauyo no kitemo ja hupikodo.
Says to wander back this way any time you like.
Nebepe papi.
Wonders if you found Chubsa yet. Hard to pin them down.
Nojo no kideke pajo ki no kidenu.
Says to wander back this way any time you like.
No papuno.
Understands you have things to do. Wouldn't want to be behind that. Might have to find a towel after this. This here is the Sinky Dink, home of Gulp, at the very least.
Ja.
Says you should be careful in the wasteland and warns about the wildlife. Understands completely. Been watching you and loves how you don't care about...
Har det upprättat?
He's pretty sure he's heard of you before, although the details are maybe a little hazy. He wonders if you have something for him to drink. Guesses he does, but it's a long life in a wild world. Sometimes he's shaken, not stirred.
Goda vän, ja. Länge.
Says you look like you've got a powerful thirst to do something in this world. Good, bad, not really sure, but it seems like you've been drinking in your destiny and liking the flavor. Wants to know if he could point you towards something fun to drink, so that you could share with the tipsy tipster. You sure look like you could use a drink. Either way, he hopes you find a way to wet your whistle before the world comes to an awful dry end and leaves us all thirsting for more.
Says
Says life's like a mystery drink. Sometimes it's amazing, and sometimes it's awful. But either way, you can't stop drinking till you're dead.
Hej ut, hand upp.
Sure,
Avslag.
wants to raise a glass to you getting the...
Ekelikkudeng.
Respects how you take care of yourself first instead of trying...
Bare du kan nære meire. Vakt du.
Sees why you joined up with the myriad. They like a peaceful drink, just like you.
Vakt du. Idioten angelasa.
Says he sells them drinks. They mostly suck them down on their own.
Sorangan.
But who cares about them?
Sorangan. En ange mer av det puntan.
Says you'd be as bummed out as him if you came for the hot stuff. The glugmocker, nimhimbibble, and his favourite radium syrup. That one's even more intoxicating now, aged in truck tankers and all.
Slåkba. Urengelengi. Gamanuggilalan.
Without a drink, and radium syrup especially, he can't move, much less think, as the power of his mind is directly proportional to the quantity of syrup he swigs. That's why he's called Gulp.
Anarden mig.
The drink helps him forget the state the world is in, but it only lasts until tomorrow. The world is still doomed, even if the sun goes up.
Daunen nicht auf Blau. Slåkba.
Says that's what gives your internal such a great glow.
Goda vägen.
He wants you to know he has other interests too. He's the Surf Epelago's self-proclaimed ornithologist, for example.
Eirade. Gamanuggilalan.
There are other ways than a cold drink to relieve stress, even in these dark times, and, fortunately for you, he can help.
Eirade. Goda vägen. Avslag.
Watching Pippi's flap is calming, but better yet are the ones you can look at and touch, like quacks. Squeezing them is a great way to relax.
Maunang.
They're better at floating than flapping, so you should be able to net a few without growing yourself a pair of wings.
Har trauntegt. Und du overfutem. Witam.
Gulp tells you to not forget those quacks. They won't...
Himatu, Saina,
Has heard the northwestern world eater is
Oyeila Tau.
Understand. Let's see.